Okay, so I want to show you how Terraspace all logging works a little differently when you have Terraspace Cloud configured with your project. For those who already know what Terraspace all is about, this can be a little bit of review at the beginning here. So I'm going to go to dependency graphs and deploy multiple. And here is just explaining that Terraspace all is used to deploy multiple stacks. So what Terraspace all does is it actually calculates the dependencies between your graph or your stacks, and calculates the dependency graph by reading kind of outputs and variables. Whenever you wire output to input variable like this, it uses that information to calculate the dependency graph, and from that is able to kind of figure out how to deploy the stacks in the right sequence. Here's an example of it right here. Terraspace all up says we'll run Terraspace up VPC in batch 1. So it's going to deploy the network first, and then says we'll run Terraspace up instance in batch 2. So it's going to deploy the EC2 instance on top of the VPC in batch 2 right there, which makes sense. Okay. On top of that, what Terraspace all does, it says right here, running Terraspace up VPC, and then it says logs, log up VPC log. So it takes actually the output of Terraspace up VPC and redirects that output to this log right here, and then only surfaces actually summarized information. And it does this because we're human beings, and it's a lot easier to parse summarized information than it is a bunch of kind of a logging stream output. So it does that as a kind of convenience. And that's really handy and dandy when you're working locally, because then you can see the full log by just looking at the log files here, and you can see the summarized information right while you're kind of running the command. But it's not so useful when you're, they say, running Terraspace all in a CI/CD environment, like on an automated build system, okay? Because you might not have access to these logs so easily. So the way this is kind of handled with Terraspace Cloud is actually Terraspace Cloud doesn't redirect it to a file, but actually redirects it to Terraspace Cloud and captures the output. So I'll show you how that kind of looks like here. It's under Cloud, Terraspace all. So here's a screenshot of actually Terraspace all up run. And what happens is it leads to Terraspace up D1. So this is actually a record associated with the D1 stack here. And it shows you actually the context. It shows you how it got to this point. It shows you that it came from Terraspace all up, and it shows you kind of the previous kind of up command output, summarized output, and then it shows you the full log of the Terraspace up D1. So I actually think that's actually really useful, because now you have full context there. You have the summarized output as well as the kind of the detail input all in one captured log stream right there. Okay, so I'll give you a demo of this now. So let's look at my Terraspace Cloud right now project right here. I'm organization. It's a demo, so I have access to the demo. I've already claimed that. Your organizations be different. And here is the project. So I'll just confirm right quick here. Config app.rb has config.cloud.org equals demo, and yours again is gonna be different. Okay. So let's actually take a look at the stacks that we're about to deploy. Terraspace list. So you can see A1, B1, and B2. And a better way to see this, I think, is to graph it out. So Terraspace all graph will generate this nice graph here, showing that A1 is dependent on B1 and B2. We're going to confirm that by looking at A1 TFRs, base TFRs right here. And you can see right now that the output from B1 length and B2 length is wired to length 1 and length 2. And we'll just look at one of these outputs, like B1 outputs right here. So looking at that, you can see B1 output length. That's the output value right there, and that gets wired to the input here. And that's why we get this dependency graph right there. So like I said, locally, you can actually run Terraspace logs with -F, and then you can see the logs, but in a CI/CD system, you're not gonna be able to do that, right? But I'm just gonna show you that. Terraspace all up -Y now. And now that is running. And you can see the logs are gonna be in stream on the right-hand side because I'm running that logs command. On the left-hand side here, we're kind of seeing the summarized output, which is very useful. Then you also see a Terraspace cloud link being surfaced now too. So we're gonna actually click on these cloud links right here, okay, and open it up, and we're gonna see what the output looks like right here. So in Terraspace all up, that's what the calling command was, and this is Terraspace up B1 right here, and then you can see the full output right there. So that's the same output that we're seeing streamed here on the right-hand side, but that's all interlaced, and this is just the output for only the B1 stack. When we go click on stacks here, we're going to see all the outputs now. See all the stacks I deploy, and you click on any of these, and you can look at basically the update logs and the details right here. And you can see the logs right here. For this is the log Terraspace up A1 here, and you can see that run last. So B1 and B2 kind of runs first, and the A1 it runs last. Let's take a look at the last one right here, B2, and then we'll just look at details here, and you can see here's the B2 log right here. So that's pretty nice. It kind of shows you all the output right there and gives you all the context, relevant context too around it. And basically, instead of having to tail the logs, it captures the logs and kind of redirects it. And that's what happens when you use Terraspace Cloud here. It's just an additional convenience that's added because you're not going to always have access to log files when you're running Terraspace all in a CI/CD build system. So that's basically what I want to show you, how when you hook up Terraspace Cloud and use Terraspace all, the logs actually get redirected and captured for later reviewing in a kind of easy fashion. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. Cheers.